So here's you guys a side-by-side look of a 4500 and a Super 70. And as you've seen in my other videos, how we've set these up. I wanted to kind of go over some things because we're getting rid of this Super 70 and we're going to put a 4500 in. There's a lot of advantages to the Super 70 because everything is together. So basically your hydraulics, all your stuff is in the base here. And then your electronics are in that little box over there. Whereas on the 4500, you have this box here, which is all your electronics that are a lot bigger. You have to set them up separately. And then also like your joysticks and stuff are in this cab. So it's not as easily to move. You can't solve from either end. The Super 70, you can solve from either end, but you can see how much littler this unit is because it's made to be hooked behind a truck. So you can hook this behind a truck. Whereas the 4500 is a stationary unit. But believe it or not, these 4500s are literally, you know, a lot of people are debating whether they want to jump from a Super 70 to something like this, because this is anywhere from 175,000 to 200,000. Now, the other thing with this is hydraulic and electric. So the head is slower on this up and down, but back and forth, this is faster. This has a ball screw in it here that goes up and down. And you're gonna see we rebuilt this mill totally. So you're gonna see all that in another video. We're still doing some things on it, still fabricating some stuff. So you'll kind of see that. But on this here, the great thing about it is you can take your joysticks anywhere. You can hook it on either end. You've got the hookups here and down there. So if people don't show up or something for work, and you're not automated completely, like something you would do the 4500. Now the next thing is, this doesn't need anything else to function. Like you can just put this mill in, you can take off sawing, and it's extremely fast. You can cut a ton of lumber with this. I'm not for sure if this 4500 will outcut this Super 70 or not. We're gonna find out for you guys. But not only do you have the cab, do you have the electronics, the hydraulics, and the mill, but you have to have an air compressor to run this 4500. So that's another thing on the 4500 is you have to have air, which is through the pentagram, run to it. And that's another thing. All your electronics, your wires and stuff are run through this cat track on the side over here. So you can see this cat track right here. That is where all your electronics, you know, and your hoses and hydraulics are. So everything's compact, easy. It's all pretty much easy to fix. Runs down through there. This one runs up and over. Now, as far as cleaning, getting all your stuff fixed, that's excellent for something like this. And that's going to make this, you know, a better fit for cleanup and stuff. This runs a bigger band on it and doesn't have the rubber wheels. So in here, you've got the rubber wheels or the metal wheels on it, and they're bigger. So your blade life is going to be bigger because not only are your guide blocks bigger, but your wheels are bigger, wider. You're getting more circumference, and you don't get that squishy drive when you're sawing through logs. Whereas this has a wheel on it that is grooved, and you put basically a rubber band on it. As you can see, this is an old wheel that we took off, but you put a rubber belt in there, which is what the actual blade runs on, as you can see. But you can see how much littler the head and everything. This has a shorter chute, so you can't saw as big of logs. Now you can get a wide version in this, but I still think that it's 2 to 4, maybe even 6 inches narrower than what the head is on that. That's obviously electric motor. It's 30 horse. This is 55 horse on this. But like I was talking about the air, you've got to buy a compressor to run this too. And you really need, I would say 5 horse would run it, but I don't think it would do your blow off and everything efficiently because this has a blow off for your lumber. So you go over here and you've got this air valve that goes in here. I've got to put a new end on it, but it goes in this. And as this comes back, it blows out this and blows your lumber off. This also, the airbag has to air your head up. So you set your pressure and everything up there. I do like it once it's set up. I've already set this one up. and used it and run it, but I really like how you pressurize the blade and depressurize it. But if you don't have an air supply, a good one, you're not going to be able to have a 4500. So that's another thing you got to buy. I would say a 7.5 is the minimum to efficiently run this. I think it takes 14.6 CFM at 110 PSI to efficiently run the head on this, because it keeps pressure on your blade. It keeps the blow off going. It does your like water supply and stuff, all that run through there. And you've got over that, you've got your air hoses that run through there. Now, one of the things I really like is this has the dual log turner on it. You can see both of them there. I took away the foot pedestal clamp and put this style clamp on it because we saw our stuff all the way down 90% of the time. When we do cross ties or cants, you could have the other one, but the other style, the big one that mounts the floor, would blow out right there on a lot of your 1-inch poplar boards. Whereas this has it made in it from the factory. As you can see right here, you've got that from the factory made on there. But it's a single post, and a lot of times this head will twist side to side and it doesn't, clamp. It takes a minute to get good clamp force on there, and sometimes you have to re-clamp, which is a pain in the tail. But this mill served us extremely well. These mills use, if you are cutting, 800 to 1,000 board feet an hour, you're going to use about 2 to 1.3 gallon per hour of diesel. On this mill, obviously you ain't gonna have diesel, but it is 3-phase, so we'll see how that pans out too. You do have a lot bigger hydraulic system on here with a lot more power in the system, and this whole deal is more robust. But what everybody can't decide between is, can this outsaw something like this without the automation, and are you going to get more money per board foot? Because you have a ton. Let's say this is $100,000, and let's say this is 175. Then you still need an air compressor. You still have to have, you're going to have all kinds of equipment to put it in. All the back parts automated, which is really nice if you got it set up for it. Like this here kicks all your boards and stuff off the back, shoots it down off there, goes out the end. But that makes it that much longer. You can see how much shorter that mill is in comparison to this. This is a lot longer, and this is short, so you can put it in really easy and move it. Now, as far as maintenance and stuff on this, no longer are you going to have a radiator, no longer are you going to have diesel fuel, the lines, oil, all the stuff that goes in here. You're not going to have that anymore. And I think if you had the right setup, obviously the 4500 is going to be the way to go. But we're going to see that because we're going to put a green chain and a bunch of other stuff in here. So that's going to be a little more automated. Now, we had a log deck hooked to this, and you can see if you don't have a log deck from the beginning, you can hook your log deck here, and that goes into your valve. I've already set this one up for it. This comes from the factory, set up for a log deck, and all your hydraulic hoses go to this, obviously. The setworks on this are really, really odd in comparison to what the setworks are on the head unit on this. This has a littler headworks deal on it, and so it's littler screen-wise, but it has a lot more function to it. One of the things that they want this to be automated, so this knows the beginning of the log and the end of the log. You have to set it, but they want you to saw with the head manually or automatic. So you just let it bump up, bump down. I like that one because I don't think a computer can outsaw me. So we're going to see if I can get Woodmizer to do some kind of different programming. One of the things I really do like is the toe boards on this are automated. So when you get a big log on here, no longer do you have to wait for someone to shift it. And like the other day, I was sawing on here, just testing some things out. And I had them set the log right here and back there. And I was able to shift the log to where I needed it on there without doing anything, which made it super simple. As far as power goes, You know, like I was saying, this is 30 horse, which in electric, usually 30 horse means that it's about 60 in diesel. So we're getting roughly 5 more horsepower. But another thing is you don't have the hydraulics working on this motor. You know, the hydraulics, this motor is able to put full power to the blade. Whereas this one over here, the motor is always running the hydraulics for everything that you do, you know, clamping it, moving the head back and forth. Everything on this is hydraulic, which I absolutely love. I love hydraulic. And I've been talking to Woodmizer, trying to get them to update the 4500. And I think that they will futuristically to where the head on this is hydraulic. Because one, it would make it faster and just give it that quick of a more up and down speed. As far as other things, I love that this is automated on here. Like this will raise itself and lower. So you've got that effect too. So if, you know, you break a blade or anything, you can lift that up out of your guy's way. Whereas on this, someone has to lift it up and get it out of there. It's just a little bit more convenient to do that. Or if you just need to lift it for any reason whatsoever, you can do it by your hand control. This meal, if you guys are looking at a Super 70, I've got a video on what to watch for, but there is a few things to watch for on these meals, like right in here. This part here needs to be built up and beefed up. I don't think they've done anything about that, because if you're sawing long term on this, like this has 16,000 hours, this has enough power on a big log that it will rip the bottom of the chassis out here. And on the head, the actual mass inside here, you have a bunch of bearings and stuff, and you can see I've put the kit in there to beef it up. They're all 4 corners are like that on top and bottom. There's one corner here in the back corner that's done. But there's other issues too. Like I said, I've got a whole video on that. Now on this 4500, the issues that I'm seeing a lot of people have is the mass breaking out. And I have talked to Woodmizer, it is a problem. I don't know why they're not beefing it up from the factory. But as you can see here, this has a hole in it, in the gap. And what happens is this side busts out through here. So they need to have tubing sleeved inside of this, or make this, they really just need to make this thicker. It's really thin metal, as you can see, and it busts out, and then it lets the head basically fall off or droop over. So I would watch for that. Also, your torque tube, people break those. This one was messed up when I got it. That's what I'm going through now and fixing. I haven't figured out this 4500 completely on what goes bad on it or what doesn't, but I'll let you guys know as we go. Because like I said, we rebuilt this one, so it already had some issues. It was not taken care of, and the people lied to me when I bought it through auction and basically told me that it was good. Whole nother saga on that. But like I said, there's a lot of things that I really like on this. There's some things that I'm very leery of, and I don't know that the cost is going to be better. Like I said, I'll have to see that long term. But like I said, you have to have an air compressor. You have to have a lot of things to make this work. You obviously don't have diesel fuel, but you still have 3-phase electric, things of that nature. Hopefully that kind of helps some of you guys. To pump the blade up on this, you use, hand, whereas that one, you just pull the lever like I was showing. But that's where your air compressor runs to and runs multiple things up there. I've got another video coming to kind of show the things that, like I said, we rebuilt this. A lot of the problems we had, things we had to go through, and I'll show you guys that. But anyway, this is the 4500 that we're going to put in, and I hope this is a good change up from the Super 70. If not, we'll be selling it.